He is one of the social media gurus of the world. He happens to live in Indianapolis. We've known who each other were for a long time. We just met first physically, face-to-face, about a month ago. As the party's been going on, he and Jenny have been chatting and saying, she said, "You want Doug on?" I said, "Absolutely." So, Doug, first of all, tell us how we can find you on your blog where there are over 2,100 posts.
Well, all you gotta do is Google Douglas Karr, K-A-R-R, and you'll find me everywhere. But my key blog is the Marketing Tech Blog, marketingtechblog.com. And basically I talk about everything marketing and everything technology. So how to leverage technology to communicate better.
Awesome. And we have a bit of a kinship because when we met, we knew each other, sort of the social media thing, and we follow each other on Twitter and all that sort of stuff. But we got to talking about leadership, and I know that you've got a lot of passion and insight about that. So, talk to me a little bit about maybe a couple of major lessons you've learned about leadership along the way, or things maybe that you think that maybe we all need to hear again.
Sure. Well, let's start out by, I already have a copy of your book, thanks to you. I'm going to go ahead and buy 2 more copies. So that's 3 copies that you guys can put out there for everybody.
All right. Well, we love that. Thank you.
That's the first one. What I've talked a lot to companies about is that social media and all these communication devices are really changing the way that companies do business. And especially when it comes to leadership. Leadership of yesterday, as far as, just yelling and screaming to get the job done, and it wasn't really leadership, but they basically hid behind layers of management and red tape and everything else. And what we're finding today is this incredible transformation online where people are researching their next employers or their next employee or their next CEO, and they're finding people online and discovering them. And as a leader, you need to start utilizing these tools effectively so that not only can people from the outside, if you're a public company, to start learning about your skills and your abilities, but even people within your organization to understand where the vision of your organization is and where you're taking it. So social media is just becoming this incredibly powerful tool. Internally and externally, leaders have to adopt to. And if they don't adopt, they're honestly just going to kind of get run over by the train and it's going to pass them by.
That's absolutely true. The word that I wanted to underline in everyone's mind about all that what you just said was using these tools and using them effectively.
Absolutely. Effectively if you try to manipulate, it just comes through so loud and clear and you lose all credibility. I love the fact that in the way that you educate people, really a game of momentum, right? You're slowly educating people on how to tune their leadership skills and find their strengths over time. And social media isn't any different. As people blog or utilize, social networks or wikis or what have you, it's a long-term process and it's momentum. You might have somebody that follows you or your company for 6 months and never says a word. They call you out of the blue because you've built a reputation with them.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. And so since you are this social media god, how's that sound?
I don't know about that, but I try hard.
I will use that. I will use that word a little loosely, but seriously, give everybody. I mean, at the start of the show, and I think you were on at the beginning of the party. I said, if you don't have Twitter, here's your perfect time to do that, right?
Yeah.
But give everybody 1 or 2 real quick things to help them be more effective as a leader or otherwise around social media. Just give us a couple of tidbits. Wherever you want to take that, it's great for me.
Sure. Well, it's ironic. You call me a social media guru, and the reason why I'm a social media guru is because I stepped out where other people didn't. Right? I broke ground in real estate that everybody else was too fearful to kind of step into. And so the first lesson to everybody is you have to take that step. And even if it's difficult, if you want to show your leadership, to your community understand these new mediums coming online and how you can utilize them to get your vision across for your company or for your product or service. So the first lesson is step out. Don't wait. I think too many people just wait and they let fear, kind of set in. And the problem is since this is a game of momentum, if you don't step out early, and you're just going to lose the race. So that would be my first one. The second one is learn from mistakes and learn from other people's mistakes. Part of this is the wild, wild west. I think everybody thinks that, you're starting to see books now, how to use Twitter, how to do this, how to do that. Hey, we're in the wild west here. This is, we're going through the same growing pains as 100 years ago when telephone lines were, or 200 years ago when telephone lines were all of a sudden put into companies. What? A customer can call us and complain? My God, it used to, these are full times for companies. So the second one is learn from other people. And so part of that is joining the network of people, joining this blogosphere, joining with other people that are engaged in these conversations and utilizing these tools, and talk to them about best practices, what worked, what didn't work, and get a good idea of how to utilize them to really make a difference. I think a lot of people jump in and just try to, it's not leveraging the technology, they abuse the technology. And when you abuse the technology, people's ears go off. They just